Hey guys, so welcome back to the Great Ancestor Chronicles. Let's carry on where we left off. Our black magic, our hocus pocus, is starting to get to Lord Van Zeeks as we start changing the color of blood at our own whim, proclaiming it belongs to a certain somebody named Eggert Benedict, and he's obviously had enough, calling for the trial to cease at once. Unfortunately for him, we have temporarily suspended the summation examination, so it's up to the jury to buy our bullshit. I believe in Iris's invention, even if he doesn't. It's not exactly legally approved to present evidence that can be accepted, but hey, as long as we can persuade the jury, who seem utterly swayable at this point, especially juror number 4 now that he's resolved the mystery of where that bullet went in his patient, hopefully we can steer things back on track in our favor.
Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. That she is, and so is my partner, Susato. Wherever she is, I hope she comes back soon.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
No, we're not shooting the jury. We don't need to hold them at gunpoint to convince them. We're almost there, actually, with our photographs and our blood samples. After that shrewd process of the situation from an entirely unexpected source. It must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. Right. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. Of course you will, right guys? So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Oh yeah.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Wow, all of them.
Guilty.
Oh god damn. Of all people.
Not guilty.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Alright, I'll stop giving juror number 6 a hard time. Juror number 4, I solved your mystery. I can't believe you're being a bitch about this. We're gonna have words after this. I'm gonna have your medical license revoked. 2 call guilty, and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? I'm the judge. I can do whatever I please. You sit down. You are no longer top, you are bottom. If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. Well, you were relying on them previously. It's just because they changed their mind, all of a sudden they're unreliable. I mean, you do have a point regarding juror number 4 and 6, but I digress. I'm not gonna object to that. I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored, despite how coincidental this jury makeup has been. This trial will continue. Ah! More evidence, please. Ah! Sorry, pal. Looks like I'm not the only one who needs more conclusive evidence. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. I mean, it's undeniable I found a 3rd bullet, right? So, there's that, at the very least. It doesn't matter that the blood is a different color. We've established that the blood didn't pass through, the bullet, sorry, didn't pass through Holmes. And yet there's a bullet against the calendar with someone's blood on it. It doesn't matter if that we don't know whose blood it is. There's enough doubt, right? The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. Exactly, we have no idea where he is. Like, all we have is a name that's probably fake. Although it's Ace Attorney, for all I know, that is his actual birth name. Someone called this man Eggert Benedict. What? The name the gentleman gave for himself, Eggert Benedict, is quite clearly false. Oh, thank God. His name is actually Beans on Toast. I don't believe it. Just when I'd managed to prove the man was there that night, he gave me a fake name based on a breakfast?
Could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke? I could only hope it was a female. Oh, thank God.
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5. What's your deal now? What have you to say, madam?
If possible. Inspector?
Me, ma'am.
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown.
Oh my God. You recognize this man? Right, yes, this one you mean. Old Mr. Benedict.
That's my husband. That's my son. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you actually have a relevant plot point. You know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What? No. Good gracious! What the fuck is going on? Pardon my language, I'm the lord of the chambers. Order! Order! Are you ordering yourself because you were the one that was most hyped? Here, my lord. Juror number 5, how on earth?
I'm a communications officer. Stop.
As we can clearly see.
The gentleman in the photograph is. Stop.
Yeah, okay, get to it.
Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop.
Oh my god, you're spies.
A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop.
Well, can you communicate with him? Tap! Quick! Come here now! This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. And I thought, yeah, man, jurors getting on to the court cases like twice in a row or twice in 2 months, it's preposterous.
I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yeah, well, the fact that he has a respectable job by day just means he screams criminal mastermind, right? Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong. If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zeeks, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. As your lordship bids. I'm still not happy with you, though. The court will recess for an hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson. Yes, my lord. I should like to hear from you specifically about the events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess. Yes, sir, my lord. Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m. Oh, very specific, but thankfully we can grab some lunch. What are we gonna have? Eggert Benedict? No, not the man himself. To be continued. We were so close last time. The perils of a blind playthrough, not knowing when the to be continued screen is coming up, but I suppose it's better than the last time this happened where we were like one dialogue option away. 17th of April, 12:41 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. What are we gonna do for an hour? Oh, Gina, how are you holding up? What? I got you not guilty. Twice, I might add. I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Ginny, are you alright? Why don't you say anything?
Well, are you hungry?
What's the point, eh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? Well, you saw it, that picture.
Because we know it's not telling the full story, okay? It's out of context. What picture?
You mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder.
Why don't you just explain it to us? What happened? Why do you have the gun in your hand? And I'll probably believe you. For all I know, you try to prevent him from shooting himself in the head, so you confiscated his gun.
Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they?
I won't lie. That was my first thought when I saw that picture. Was my heart just sinking, crushed, because I was like, oh man, this case is done. Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court.
Surely you've got to have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent.
It's my job. Of course I can. Don't pout at me.
Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night.
You know, and then if you're still doubting that our reasons for fighting for you, at least explain yourself, and then you'll have more of a reason to believe in us.
Ryuno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear from you.
Alright then, we have an hour. Let's cozy up on that seat.
It was after we'd had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we?
Yes, I remember.
After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down to the street to the 2-to-1, to Windebag's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. The Hound of the Baskervilles? I don't know what it's about or nothing, but if you ask me, there's something in that Sholmes don't like. Something what he don't want people reading. Sorry, it takes me a while to process Gina's accent in my mind. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in lug with Windibank for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Windibank's. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all that was going to kick off, did I?
No, you didn't. But still, maybe that's why we don't commit crimes. Because, you know, nothing good really comes out of it.
I struck the lock and stuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick. And that's when...
What do you think you're doing?
Ah! I nearly died, I did. And next thing I knew...
Photo.
I'd grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like... I don't know what.
Okay, so it was a snap decision. You panicked, you grabbed the gun. Oh, you're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery.
The manuscript. Have you got it here?
Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you?
A story?
I beg your pardon?
The Hound of the... something or other? If it's here, I want to see it.
I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see it's here, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? Okay, so at least he was understanding.
So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright. The manuscript. Sholmes weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of shop.
Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes.
What was that noise? Someone's breaking in.
Dear me. Is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry.
Better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I'll come with you, and...
Now, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. He was protecting her, as we kind of figured.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked out onto the shop. I'm back in the storeroom, like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on.
Seems to be Gina's role in a lot of crimes these days. Just hide somewhere and listen to what's going on.
It sounded like they got in a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself, when... Whew. I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there was... right at my feet. Lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quick as you like.
Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Winterback might come for you.
Yeah. So I went to grab the old cove's gun.
And I guess you, like, maybe cradled the gun in your fetal position, like, totally anxious and stressed, until you eventually passed out, and then, unfortunately, it looks really bad.
I figured I'd put up a fight at least.
Yeah, see? So we kind of figured she locked the door herself to protect herself.
But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Winterbank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden. Kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing.
Okay, thank you for telling me that. So we had 2 shots almost simultaneously. That must have been when Eggert Benedict got shot and when Winterback got shot. So what, do we have like a Mexican standoff in the main store?
That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive. You don't know that, for all you know. He would have died anyway, and we wouldn't be able to solve his crime. It's unfortunate that you just happen to be the main suspect in the case, though. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. Yeah, well, I'm not the police. I'm your defender. It'll be alright, Ginny, don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Yeah, just a little longer. We'll probably be done by 9 p.m., considering the trial's only one day. Back in the, was it early 20th century? Ryunosuke about to put the real culprit through the mill. I don't know if he was the real culprit. It was a upward slope, right? And Eggert Benedict's pretty tall, from what I remember. It had to be, Junior Skulkin. That cove what was there in the afternoon? That Eggert Benedict. That Eggert Benedict. I'm gonna scramble him. I still remember how he looked at me. Like I was nothing. Damn. He was there that night. You saw him? We don't know his real name yet. All I know is that we've sent someone to poach him. Sorry, I'll stop now. But I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Bet he's a hard-boiled witness. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all on Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Yeah, I got this. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. Someone needs to believe in you. Like someone believed in me. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill did. We told you a whole pack of lies. So, I think you've grown since then, right? And you got the bog trotter off with him, even though he was a killer. That just means I'm really good at what I do then, doesn't it? No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. Exactly. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook, for all you know. I could, but I'm operating off the best information I've got right now, at this time. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. And then I was accused on a boat. Thankfully, there was no trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were, well, they were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Reno. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. And it wasn't Susato. My best friend. Ah, his theme. I still can't get over just the fact that he died such a meaningless, pointless death. It's so tragic. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me and I'll do the rest. I was so happy, I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. Damn. That gave me chills. Just, he's looking at me, smiling down on me. Why do our mentors always have to die? As soon as my trial began, it was obvious. Even though he kind of faltered halfway. That he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Oh, look at us two. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying?
Believe in me, Gina. Damn it. Have some faith. I need a cheerleader, okay? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. At least, like, Ryunosuke knows where she's coming from. She's like, why are you believing in me? You know, like, because that's how he felt. He was like, oh man, it looks so damning. Like, how could anyone believe in me? The evidence is stacked against me. Is he really doing this because he believes me, or is he just doing it because I'm his friend and he's just going along with the motions to try and save me, you know?
Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar?
Especially because you're a no-good liar. You're not like McGilded. I know that. You don't have a evil cackle.
Eh?
And you're not rich.
That's right. You're our friend, Ginny.
Yeah, McGilded wasn't my friend. He barely paid me my fee.
Iris.
We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Yes.
That's really all we need to know.
Exactly. Mr. Naruhodo, I...
Aw, Gina. Can we give her a hug? Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. What? It's been an hour? I haven't eaten. Yes, of course. Thank you. Damn it. Why didn't we eat at a cafe and talk about this or something? I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew that Kazuma's theme now belongs to me, it seems. Also, just how hard it was to bear the burden of another, putting all their faith in you. This is it at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Susato-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. I'm doing it for us, the Japanese squad. 17th of April, 1:41 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Uh-oh, we're a minute late. Not good. I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? The subpoena was delivered to the communications station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem. I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's presses of the case heard by the court this morning. So he's delayed, huh? I wonder if he's even gonna make it. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yes, I can only apologize, my lord. And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, it's, not exactly acceptable to the court. I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake.
Uh-oh, now we're sounding like McGilded. Iris, please, we're not the bad guys here. My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Oh, there we are. I thought it was going to come, like, way later. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay. Mr. Eggert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. And certainly not like this. What's his deal? There he is. Surprised he went along with it. Thank you for complying with the court's subpoena at such short notice, sir. But of course, my lord. As an upstanding member of London society, it's my pleasure to oblige. Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communications Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume. Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at the pawnbrokers on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know.
Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon, so we can commence the comedic proceedings. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
I hope you do better than these guys. Uh-oh, he's gyrating again. Gladly, my lord, gladly.
Let's hear it.
What do you got to say for yourself? The accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. Okay, well, it should be easy enough to prove that's his blood, right? We just need to see if there's a wound, although I don't think we can exactly ask him to undress in court.
So, you deny the accusation completely, do you?
And, well, the fact that he's wiggling his arms around means, I guess, he wasn't shot in the shoulder. I must say I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by the self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today. Uh-oh, you called your colleague inept. By golly. How long am I expected to be detained here?
If following the defense's cross-examination your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good, then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least.
Let us not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So we meet again, Mr. Eggert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? Obviously it's Mr. Graydon, Ryunosuke, come on. You should have said, so we meet again, Ashley Graydon, or is it Mr. Benedict? That would have been a lot better. My apologies, you are? Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So. Oh. Ah. I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. I might put it on, though. I wonder why he threw his hat off. Interesting. The accusation. Where do we begin with this? Let's hone in on this particular part of his testimony here, where we're claiming that his blood was found at the scene. Maybe we'll force him to reveal if he has any wounds on his person. Although that white suit is looking spick and span, blood was found at the scene of the crime, there's no question of that. There was even a bullet lodged with it. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But I'm not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? I suppose not. I mean, are you a wraith? How can you be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. They don't look like they've been shot, although, to be fair, you don't look like you've been shot either. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate different... Oh, spare me the science lesson! Who is this Sholmes character, anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name, especially a communications expert. He's a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective. Yeah, well, when it's convenient. A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we? Uh-oh. Ooh. What have you got to say for yourself there? I wasn't expecting this to come up when I pressed this statement. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin? The left Skulkin? What, me? No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you. Skulkin 1. Right, I've added up to here with this. How many times have I got to tell you? Yes, I know, you're not Big Bruv Skulky. Or Sulky, sorry. I'm not talking about you. Mr. Nash Skulkin. God, I have to be so specific. Hey, God blimey, Governor. You what? Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind?
Or is there nothing between your ears? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Hey, me thoughts. I don't have none of them. It must have been him. You what? Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. I'm talking to you, Nash Skulkin. That's your real name, no? Not Eggert Benedict. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves his arm around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all. What wound? Well, he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. Brilliant. I knew there'd be something about a wound. But I'm surprised his wound has managed to stay stitched together with the amount of waving around he's doing. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him and... Oh, hell's bells. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. Very touching. Like you're touching your shoulder, on account of your injured arm. It always feels good when you press the right statement on the first try. My lord? Yes, Mr. Graydon. I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Which is coincidentally where you're grasping right now. Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand as if in pain. I guess we like ketchup on our Eggert Benedict. No, I refuse. Huh? You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. Damn, the audacity! As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved. You claim to have had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery? My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony. Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon. I've got photographic evidence. The bottom line is I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroking establishment where the man was killed. Where is it? Please tell me it's in evidence. It's not? What? Damn it! Okay, I'm gonna have to just press him on this then. Since I don't have the photo. Never had anything to do with it? You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Not to mention, how do you think we subpoenaed you? Because we had a photo of you there, and we knew who you were thanks to juror number 5. Obviously, I'm not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for an armchair to finish my study. Okay, so I guess he's got a counter to that. He just means that he's paid a visit before.
Objection!
No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about. I was about to say, Gregson, come on, man, step in. You were there.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Inspector? Yeah, come again, Sunshine. You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon. Go on. Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourself at the pawnbrokers that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, as I recall. And at that time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article. Well now. What? Don't go changing the story now. I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly. Are you serious? What? But you must! You confiscated the music box with his blood on it. I'm not going to lie and pretend I remember something that I don't. What's going on here? It's bullshit.
Gregsy showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Winterbanks.
Yes, of course. Indeed, and the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say.
Yeah, sans the hat, which is now in my possession. Exactly! Which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question. At no point have I denied that fact. I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more. Gregson, I swear I'm gonna tell Iris that your reputation sucks, and you're not gonna be cast in a good light in the next story. This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it? What do you think, Rene? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away. The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better. Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers. Yes, they were the key to it after all. So he says he had nothing to do with Windibanks. Well, we know that's not true. Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could become a valuable weapon. Okay, what do I have? I mean, I did look. Maybe we'll present the music box disc. This might jog his memory.
Objection!
There we are. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? Is it supposed to mean something? This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Windibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. He even cut himself on it. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc. Oh yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps. If you won't show us your arm, can you show us your thumb? That's right, the surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of the smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch. Good gracious, indeed it must. Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Just give us a thumbs up, because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with a smear of blood on this disc. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you. What? What is the meaning of this? He's committed perjury, my lord. Arrest him. So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb, from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant? Now he's hiding his hand behind his back. Or maybe that's just his normal pose. Order! Well, Mr. Graydon? It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as he put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn? There is a crime lying on the stand saying you had nothing to do with the pawnbrokery where apparently you had this in pawn. What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. Alright, another set of testimony. The disc. There's a note on the disc saying for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Damn, that's a good one.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous London philanthropist? Yeah, well, he's up in smoke now. Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder.
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good lord, Mr. Graydon. Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct. Huh. Okay.
Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again. According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming that this belongs to him then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGilded's disc for some reason. Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
Sure thing. Gladly.
Where do I begin on this one? I think we start here. We obviously know it's not his disc.
Hold it!
So let's press him on the fact that it says for McGilded on it. Would you care to explain how this belongs to you?
As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You're certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question.
You claim that was your overcoat? The one that barely fit you?
Obviously, and in my haste I clean forgot to lose weight before I picked it up again. But the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet there is a note on it that reads for McGilded. I am a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So the disc in question?
It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being, although perjury is probably a lot more favorable than murder.